Hello everyone, welcome to AWS Data Engineering Training Program. And as part of this training, today we will be exploring Lambda functions. So, what Lambda functions are, where to use it, what are the limitations, all these things we will be exploring. So, let's start the class with the agenda. So, overview of Lambda service, create your first Lambda function, configuration of Lambda function, create a test event, test your Lambda function, schedule a Lambda function with event breeze rules, add event based trigger to a Lambda function. There are a lot of things, and you don't need to remember anything. We will explore each and everything one by one and practically. Starting with the first one, what exactly is Lambda? In previous week, we talked about our EC2. That was a compute resource. Because in order to process something, you need a compute power, right? But the challenge is if I want to launch a server, that I can do, but if the server is keep on running for 24 by 7, that can be quite heavily charged to me. As a solution, what we did is we put some monitoring over there. Like if my server is not consuming any compute resource, suppose CPU utilization is less than 2% for continuously 30 minutes or 15 minutes, behind the scene it can stop my server. That's also possible. But even in that case, at least your server will be running for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. If you want to avoid, you can even do that. Lambda is a serverless compute service. And what exactly that means? How can be something serverless? Serverless in the sense, like, from a user point of view, from a developer point of view, it's a serverless. That means you don't have to worry about launching a server or starting a server or stopping a server. That is not your concern. You can concentrate on the just on the your business logic or whatever code you are writing. Everything else will be taken care by AWS. So it runs your code in response to events. That's also possible. If you don't want to run it manually, in that case we can make it automatic as well. As soon as some event happens, and then there can be lot of events. To be very simple, I would say, suppose someone is copying a file into your bucket, and that activity can happen in midnight, right? So we will define a process that if someone is putting any file into my bucket, or someone is deleting any file from my bucket, in that case this particular code should run. So it can even run in response to to an event. And you can choose from variety of programming languages. AWS supports almost all programming languages. So you can write your business logic in C, C++, Java, Node.js, Python, or much more programming languages. It scales automatically in response to incoming request. That's another benefit. Because you are not taking care of launching the server now, then the point is, if suppose multiple code is running, or code is very heavy, or it needs some scaling behind the scene, that means you need more compute power. So it can automatically scale as well. That's also possible. And you can schedule Lambda function with event breeze rule. Sometime you do not want to make it event based. You will say that, okay, I'm very much sure that my data will be coming in the morning around 7 a.m. So can you schedule my code running at 8 a.m. every day? Or maybe you want it Monday to Friday. Any type of scheduling you want, we can do that. It can be used for processing time up to 15 minutes. That is one of the limitation, and you should be very much clear about it. Because you will face any scenario in your project. There you have to make a decision that you should go with EC2 instance or you should go with Lambda, and this would be a deciding factor. If you are looking for a long running queries or a complex processing that may go for few hours, in that case you should go with EC2 instance, because Lambda function will not help you. Lambda function can help you only for ad hoc stuff, where your code will run only for few seconds or hardly for few minutes. Then Lambda is good, because in that case you don't have to worry about servers and all. But if your processing time may go beyond 15 minutes, Lambda cannot help you. EC2 instance is the only option you can use. Okay, so these are just some theoretical idea about Lambda function. Once you will do it practically, it will be more clear to you. Okay, so let me jump to our trial account and we'll be doing it practically. First of all, I will be logging in. In the meantime, if anyone wants to add something here, or if you're having any type of doubt, you can ask me. 566402. Okay, so in the search bar, we will search for our Lambda service, and then we will be creating our Lambda function. So I will go here and type Lambda, and you can see the tagline. Lambda service is displayed and it says run code without thinking about servers. That's the beauty of Lambda function. As a developer, you don't have to worry about servers and all. You concentrate only on your development work. So I'm opening Lambda, and let's see if any Lambda function is there. Otherwise, we will create our Lambda function. So you can see that my first Lambda function is there. That was created 25 days back for the previous batch. So you can forget about it. If you want, I can even delete this, and we will create from scratch. I'm deleting this one. Okay, so you can see that there is no Lambda function. So we'll click on create function. There are many ways to do it. Many ways in the sense like, would you like to write your code by yourself from scratch? Very first line you have to write, or use a blueprint. That means there will be some code snippet available for different type of use cases, and then you can modify as per your requirement. And there is a third option as well, container image. So we will go with the first one because there is no code available. We will be writing from very beginning. So I'm going with the first one, author from scratch. Function name, it's up to you, any meaningful name. So sample lambda function, I'm just giving a simple name. Okay. Runtime is nothing but your which programming language you will be using. So .NET is there, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, and much more. I will go with Python. Okay. It's up to you. If you are more comfortable with any other programming language, you can even do that. Python is more, you can say, common nowadays. And in our last week of training program, we will be exploring Python and PySpark. So I'm choosing Python here. After that, scroll down, and the next one is permission. You know that any simple thing we do in AWS, whether we launched EC2 instance, or you must remember that S3 replication from one bucket to another bucket, permission will definitely come into the picture. Same thing is here. What exactly your Lambda function can do, what other AWS services your Lambda can interact with, that completely depends upon which IAM role you have associated with your Lambda. So there are many things, many ways to do it. In your case, because you will be creating first time, you can go with the last option, create a new role with AWS policy template. It will automatically create it for you. You don't have to do anything. But in my case, because I already have one Lambda role available, so what I will do is I will choose this option, and let's see. Okay, let's wait, it's loading. Okay, why it's not appearing? Create a new role with basic Lambda permission, use an existing role. Okay, name I will give later. First of all, let me check the IAM role only. Use an existing role. Yeah, it's there, you can see that.